All right. Well, we are 5 minutes past the hour. We're going to go ahead and kick this off. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those that decided to join us. Um, there we go. Hey, we'll do a quick little um, intro over what we're covering before I introduce myself and my co-host here. While we're on this slide, you can pull out your phone, scan that QR code. That'll take you to the LinkedIn site for Trillium, where you can visit our website, see our products, all our great products, including the Sarasin Relief Valves, which we will cover today. So while we're going through this slide, you go ahead and pull out your phones. My name is Chris Sevier. I am the Gulf Coast Regional PRV sales rep for Sarasin. I have over 20 years of valve experience, a lot in the MRO aftermarket world, including the past 10 years with relief valves, some of that time spent with Pentair and Emerson with the Crosby, Anderson, Greenwood line, and now here recently with Trillium and the Sarasin Relief Valve line. And with me today is Billy DeKaiser.
Well, thank you, Chris. Good morning, good evening, everyone. As he said, this is Billy DeKaiser. I've been with Trillium Flow Technologies now for the past 2 years, but I spent most of my career with Consolidated. I spent 36 years with Consolidated and actually 7 years with Ferris. So I've been around the PRV industry for quite a long time. So thank you, everyone, for joining.
All right. So me and Billy today will cover MRO, our star service partners. We'll kind of just kick it off with a little bit of brief history on Sarasin and who we are, but then we'll jump into what is MRO, what is a star service partner for Trillium, and then talk a little bit about why should you choose a star service center, and then look at a couple of little case studies on what a star center will do in the MRO aftermarket world. Anytime during our conversation, you're welcome to submit a question. Just click that Q&A button. It'll keep those questions logged and ready for us. And we're going to save 15, 20 minutes towards the end to cover your questions. So as we go along, feel free to post those and we will get to them at the end. So let's get going. So those that don't know, Sarasin has been around for a little while. As you can see, from 1848, started in a forging mill, which was purchased in 1905 by DeFay and Sarasin. So that's where the Sarasin name comes from. 1956, at that facility, they develop their first PRV, a spring-loaded PRV. So if you're doing the math, that's over 70 years of relief valve industry work there. Soon, they got into the nuclear business, which is they're very heavy into the nuclear business. And if anybody has done work in the nuclear industry, you know the stringent things that you have to do to put a valve into a nuclear facility. So it just goes to show you the quality and workmanship that goes into the Sarasin product. 1983, Sarasin was sold to Anderson Greenwood. Some of you might know who they are. Spent a short time with them before they were sold off, picked up by the Weir Group in 1998, and then in 2019, Weir divested that piece along with a couple other pieces of the Weir Group, and that's where Trillium was formed. So over 170 years of history, we've been around for a while. When you look at Trillium and you look at the Sarasin Relief Valve line, you see that we have one of the most extensive product ranges of high pressure relief valves. From our spring loaded, we've got the thermals, we've got your standard API 526 direct springs, and we've got your critical high pressure steam safety valve and your low pressure steam safety valves. Along with that, on our pilot operated range, we have our semi nozzle, which is your standard API 526 takeout dimensions on a pilot. We also offer a full nozzle version of that fits a standard API 526 spring loaded. We have an economizer, a low pressure relief pilot operator as well. And then tank blanketing changeover valves. Those are more, complementary to our breadth of products there. Along with that, offering a wide range of pressure classes. You talked about the 170-year history we have, over 10,000 PRVs sold worldwide through our location in France and our other sister companies like our distribution center in Deer Park, Texas. We go all the way from a cryogenic valve all the way up to 1,000-degree Fahrenheit with our steam-loaded pressure relief valves. So who do we sell to? It's really more of who don't we sell to. We're in just about all the major markets. We've got AVLs in power, offshore, chemical, oil, gas. Relief valves are sold, in the LNG exporters. We're a world leader in the air separation industry. And, we sell a lot, like into the power, the Herzig boiler equipments, OEMs of the world's. So it's really a who's who of not do we sell to. We've got worldwide acceptance. We're on all the major continents. Billy, like, you take over? Billy, you're on mute.
Just to give you an idea of some of the projects that our facility, the manufacturing facility over in France, has done in the past. What you're seeing here, just a floating LNG project where we had 551 valves. And what we're just showing here with the MRO and the star centers is that we have the capabilities wherever these ships are located. There's somebody within one of our star centers that could service these valves if need be. And these are all the requirements that we had to have for these type valves that we were able to do in our facility over in France. All the inspection, the DT, NDT, and other requirements. Here we're showing FPSO that we did with 450 valves, and it's also the same as our aftermarket and star centers, that we have people located that could actually, if there's a warranty repair that has to be done on these ships, we have people readily available to go there. Here again, these are the same requirements that we had to have on these valves that we were able to do out of our facility in France. Now, what is MRO? MRO stands for maintenance, repair, and operations. And what that refers to is the day-to-day maintenance and repair that keep operation at full production levels. Now, what is a star center? What does STAR stand for? STAR stands for Sarasin, Technical, Assembly, and Repair. And the STAR centers provide pressure relief, OEM aftermarket support for industrial plants and facilities in North America and Europe. A STAR center is basically an extension of our factory. All their technicians are trained by the factory. They have all of the engineering documents, anything they need to be a STAR center. They have to be an extended arm of our factory in France. And we actually audit them annually to make sure that they're doing the correct way that we have, that the facility in France requires. And if you want to learn more about a STAR center, you can just look at our website, trillium.com/star. The STAR centers, they're all technically certified and authorized. Everyone carries the VR stamp. As an assembler, they carry the UV or the V stamp, UV being for the Section 8 and V for the Section 1. So they hold complete loosely assembled valves and a complete part inventory. And they repair all types of PRVs, not just the Sarasin brand. Any PRV that needs to be repaired, they can repair it.
All right. So let's talk about why a star service center. So Billy hit on MRO and what a star service is, but why should you use a star service center? For one, we surround our star service centers with a service and sales team out of the Trillium Flow Technologies group. We don't just send these guys out on their own. We're there to support them. So they've got the 40 plus years of technical expertise and ability to Kaiser, the 20 plus years from me. Everybody that's in this group has a longevity with either the Sarasin product or a previous PRV manufacturer. So there's a lot of industry knowledge that's in our team. And what we do is we surround our star centers with support so that they're not just left alone to understand and work on our products. If there's something highly technical that they can't do, or if they need support on quoting or selling something new into that market or into that field, you can see from the team here, top down, that we're there to support our star service centers. So in the U.S., where we have a lot of heavy star service centers, and we'll hit up on a couple of them here towards the next couple of slides, but this just shows you the strategic placement of all of our star centers. They're just we don't just have a couple here and there. They're spread evenly across the U.S. Available in most cases 24/7, 7 days a week, trying to support our end users, our customers, with either aftermarket repair or replacements, or for any of your project needs. But with the MRO, we know that turnaround needs to be quick. And so we've got to be strategically aligned where our customers are heavily focused, like in the Gulf Coast area, you see a lot of stars, West Coast, East Coast. So you see kind of where we're located. And then in the middle right here, the blue one, this is Deer Park, Texas, and that's a Trillium Service Center where we are set as a manufacturer for the Sarasin product. So not only are we able to support with a large inventory to all of our star service centers, we also have the ability to machine. So if there's a trim change and you need an exotic alloy, and going to a factory might take 20, 10 plus weeks, we have our M stamp on these products. So now we have the capability to get that material in and machine it and turnkey it for our customers as quick as possible. And then, just not to miss out, we do have 2 sales rep locations in Nebraska and Minnesota. Those are sales locations and just a little bit different from our star centers. They don't have the capability of machine, but they are out there to sell and answer all your needs as well. Also not listed here is Vicesa, which is our star center in Mexico. So you can see a large mix for the MRO business. And so what else do you need besides people, a location, and working on it? You need stock. MRO to do that day-to-day business, you can't wait the 6 to 8 weeks. So we have inventory. And really, this is our Deer Park location. This doesn't include the inventory that's located at our star service centers as well. So just in Deer Park, to service our customers, we have approximately 1,300 valves. You can see the breakdown of the different types of valves that we have and what those numbers are. But also we have 10,000 parts on hand. So when those valves come into repair, we've got those on the shelf and we're ready to turn them quickly. Not only do we have 1,300 valves, we've got 900 more. So we're looking to service the market in both repairs and replacements quickly. Product is available, 2-day turnaround. Right now we're working on a 1-day turnaround, really, and we're on call for 24/7. So when quick deliveries need to happen, we're there. And our service centers, our star service centers, act the same way. Product specialists on all levels, you'll see, and Billy will hit on this when he highlights a couple of the service centers, that not only do we have that expertise at the Trillium level, we chose our partners really carefully, and every single location has a strong workforce with multiple years of expertise. And, for us, that just aligned really well with what we're trying to do with this market. Kind of mentioned our breadth of supply of high pressure relief valves. When you look at the North America market and just the high pressure PRVs, you can see that, and we're not naming any names here, but we have the largest breadth application of high pressure relief valves, from the thermals to the steam valves to all the different types of pilots, and then our complementary package. We don't have any holes in our lineup of valves. And most of everything from here to the left is stocked and ready to go. Just our changeover tank blanketing valves. Those are per order basis, but those aren't the heavy hitters like we see with the spring loaded and the pilot operated valves. When you look at a Sarasin relief valve and you kind of compare it to your competitors, where do we stand? Well, you're going to see that when you look at our StarFlow and our thermal reliefs, that price wise, we're usually about 30% less than our competitors. Delivery, when you look at a 526 spring loaded and a thermal valve, most of everybody has that in stock. So you can see that we're right there as far as delivery times. But on the flow and design is where you'll see a little bit of a difference. For the majority of our orifices and capacities, they're a little bit designed with a little bit higher flow rate. So you can see that we can flow a little bit more. So what does that mean? So that means that, as you're designing a system and you're at an upper level of an orifice size on capacity, you're going to be able to get a little bit more capacity out of a Sarasin relief valve before having to jump up and pay more for the next size valve before our competitors have to. With our StarFlow, we also have a universal trim. So we're not switching out trims between liquid and gas. They're all one. It's just a different setting with the adjustment ring. And with our S9s, we just go with a one simple model design. We don't have a bunch of different options. We can do modification kits to those to get to some of the backflow pressure or soft seat, but we don't offer or change our models based off of those differences. So it allows us to stock one valve in stock, cuts down on how much we have to stock, and provides better value to our customers and to our Star Service Centers. When you compare our pilots, you'll also see that cost savings. You'll see that our deliveries are a little bit faster as we're keeping more on the shelf. And then we can also deliver both the standard API 526, which we call our series 78 series, and our 76 series full nozzle as well. All those are in stock. Flow characteristics, same. Where we have a little bit more of a higher capacity, and cost effectiveness, we're about 39% lower on an average cost than our competitors. When you look at the Section 1 safety valve, and these webinars that we're doing, we're about to do a webinar on the Section 1 safety valve, and I highly consider all you guys to stick around and look for that coming up in the next coming weeks or months. It's going to be a really good one where they're going to get into depth on the Section 1 safety relief valve. I think it's what's really going to hit the market strong here in North America. Price wise, it's not a comparison. We're competitively 10 to 20% lower than our competition. Stock wise, we're stocking a lot in the Section 1 safety relief valves in all different sizes and butt welds and different materials. So delivery is quick, as you can see, with the 4 o'clock rating there, and design. And there's a lot of good things about the design with the star disc and better yoke design, but the thermal glide, I think, is what sets it apart from all of our competitors. 2 graphite rings that sit around the disc in between the guide and the disc holder. And this is a no friction, no seizing application that allows you to pop that section 1 relief valve multiple times, and it reseats every time. And we can attest to that because we've done a couple of national board audits to approve our STAR service centers. And we have driven a number of these section 1 safety relief valves to the limits, and every time they're sealing and keep on going. When in other cases with other companies I've worked for in the past, you're going to have to do a relap on those disc and nozzles, after 10 or 20 pops. But after 50, we were still going strong. Customer focus is our other big area of strength. You saw the distribution map in the North America where our star centers are aligned. Our sales reputation to help these guys from the Trillium standpoint, really lets us, get into that MRO world where you need quick turnarounds and quick reactions. And, being spread out like that allows us to be customer focused. Several instances of shipping in less than 24 hours from both Star Center and Deer Park locations. We'll talk about one here in just a little bit, but we're there to react to your needs. So that's why we've got the stock in place. That's why we've got 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're there to support MRO needs all the time. Oh, I went too fast. Other than that, we've got field service capabilities, something that we haven't hit on, but I think Billy will in the next couple of slides that really set us apart. So if you can't bring the valves to us, well, then call us. We'll go to the valves. Billy?
Thank you, Chris. We're going to go through a few slides to discuss or show some of our star centers at different locations. And what you see in here is our team industrial services in Mobile, Alabama. They have a 65,000 square foot building there, 55 employees, and they're available 24/7. They have air, liquid, and steam testing capabilities. They also have low pressure capabilities, and they average about 1,000 plus PRV service yearly. And they cover all the petrochemical and power generation plants in the Alabama area and the Florida Panhandle. Currently, they're doing commissioning of a Sarasin Star Seam at Florida Power and Light, a new unit that needs to be commissioned. So they're in the process of taking care of that. And there's about 200 plus years of total experience in this location alone. The next we have is Caliber Valve and Controls. They're located in Lake Charles, Louisiana. They've been around for about 6 years now. They joined us about 2 years ago as our Star Center, 20,000 square foot building. They average 22 employees. They're also available 24/7. They have the full field service testing capabilities. They have all the 3 medias they need for their test stands. And they average about 500 to 1,000 PRVs a year. And they cover the oil and gas petrochemical. One of the key things that they did last January when we had the freeze, the Entergy HRS combined cycle unit in Lake Charles had a pilot valve, their 76E Star Eco pilot valve that froze. And when it did, the ice pushed the bonnet almost completely off the valve and also warped the main valve body. So in order to get these valves, get it back turned around, France was able to air freight the pilot and main valve and have it to us within a week. And they were able to put everything back together and get it back to the customer. Next is the team industrial in Houston, Texas. This is one of their largest facilities of 65,000 square feet. They average on most of the time of 25 employees. They're also available 24/7, and they repair all types of valves, not just PRVs, gate globes, checks, pressure seals, whatever. And they also have the all three media. They also one of the few that has the O2 clean room, and they average about 500 PRVs a year also. And they cover the oil and gas, petrochemical, and power generation in the Houston Gulf Coast area. And one of the key things about this location is they hold the VR stamp #1 that was ever issued by the national board. Next we have is East Coast Valve Service. Their facility is located up in Groton, Connecticut. So they cover the Northeast, the area for us. They're also available 24/7. They do a lot of field repair, a little bit of shop repair, but most of it's field repair. They have the complete shop and field machining. They also have the 3 test medias, and their major customers up there is the power industry and the paper and chemical industry. And they were our very first Star Center to certify as an assembler for Sarasin valves in North America. Next is their Teams Industrial Services in Long Beach, California, which is still under the DK Amons name. It's a 30,000 square feet operation with 30 employees. They're also 24/7. They have the same capabilities as the rest of the team locations. They average about 750 plus PRVs a year. They cover the oil and gas, petrochemical, and the marine industry out in California. And they're always meeting and exceeding customer expectations with quick PRV turnaround. And their technicians average 300 plus years of service in the PRV industry.
All right, good deal. Hey, Billy, I know me and you have visited a number of these Star Centers, and I guess one of the things I always take away is it doesn't matter what Star Service Center we go to, there's always just stand-up people at each one of them. You can't go to one and not meet somebody and that has multiple years of experience, has even taught us stuff about PRVs and being around the industry for so long, especially for yourself. That's just something you don't see, and it's just great getting out there, visit these places. You can't go wrong, whatever location you're in. You just visit trilliumflow.com/star, put in your location, and it's going to route you to the nearest one.
Yeah, that is very that's a good point, Chris. The Mobile location is the one I think of the most because one of their technicians, Jeff Reed, I actually call him Jeff Reed University because he can make any valve work. If there's a problem with it, he's going to figure out, and he's not going to stop until he figures out what's wrong with it. So they have good technicians at all locations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to take the time now. When I think about MRO, I know all about it and I know what we do, but for our participants on this call, maybe MRO is kind of new to you, and Star Service Centers are something you've never thought about. And what are their capabilities? So we're just going to kind of look at some case studies that have happened at some different locations and how a Star Service has been able to help out our customer. All right, so first one is, just a thermal S9 that was sitting at air separation unit customer that we have. As you can see, there's a bunch of them there that were tested, but they were tested incorrectly by a competitor. These valves were supposed to be set on liquid, but they're set on nitrogen gas, which is incorrect. And so we had to go out to the field and do some recalibration and setting, maybe some dismantling and quick repairs. Always bring in, kits with us so that we can do field repairs. Nothing out of the ordinary to do testing in the field or to do repairs in the field. So just one quick example of how we serviced our customer from our Star Service Center. Here's a case, S9 in-house repair case, where dismantling the valve, trying to do a quick turnaround for our customer. We noticed the bellows was damaged. As you can see here, 2 different examples of damaged bellows. not only just being able to repair the valve here, but also being able to get back with the customer and understand the problems. Why did this happen? This shouldn't happen. So there's something going on here that either wasn't brought to our attention when we helped size the valve, or the valve was picked or sized incorrectly, maybe by a customer. So we have, just like Billy went through all the expertise that are at all the different facilities, they're there to help you when an issue like this happens, to resize the valve, understand if it's in the correct application, and if things need to be changed. Here's a star flow. You can't see it, but it's in this crate here. And the unique story about this one was there's two pilot valves that was sitting at our customer in Ohio, about 800 miles away. Don't Google map that, because I'm just guesstimating that off the top of my head. But they needed the valve online the very next day. The valve was sized for the wrong application. They used a pilot that was supposed to be set on air, but they were clearly running liquid. We didn't have the ability to get out there and service them. So what they did was they put the valves in a van, drove it down to our shop in Deer Park, and we actually put the correct pilots that should have been on the valve and set and tested them. Worked till about 2 or 3 in the morning while the driver slept in the back of the van, loaded him up, and he went off the very next day. So just a case of, quick turnaround when that's needed. All the service centers have that capability. Another S9 and air separation unit. This one had spring changes. And so this is where it comes really critical to use a certified star center. The competitor that was trying to do this did not look at the spring charts. And so the valve was set to a different set pressure that required the valve to have a new spring. And when that happened, the customer did not put in a new spring. They tried to set it within the confines of the spring range that was originally sold with the valve, and that's incorrect. National board, all the governing bodies of a relief valve, put stringent calculations that have to be done, and when a spring must change, and what percentage of that spring can be serviced with the set pressure. So call factory service rep at a star center. They have those spring charts. They have the capability to look at, when you're changing, can you use the same spring? That's fine. They'll just reset it. Do you need a new spring? They'll get you the parts that you need. They should be on hand. If not, they're in Deer Park, Texas, and we will overnight those to our service centers to provide a quick turnaround. But just an example of why you need to rely on star service centers versus just a everyday repair facility that may not have the expertise that our star service centers have. And can we do field testing? Here you can see a valve with a field inline test unit. So this valve is in line and it's going to be tested. All of our valves in North America are sold with an extended spindle, so that these inline testing machines that you see here can be put on to the valves, and they can be set and tested in line without being removed. And so all of our star centers have this capability. And so if you've got a valve in the field and you need it tested and you don't want to pull it out of line, give us a call. We can do that. Our pilot valves, just like any of our other competitive pilot valves, have small intricate parts, but we have factory trained technicians that can either repair those parts to new condition and reuse them, or they have kits in-house to change them out. So here was a case where not only did they have to do some part changes, which those are in stock at our service centers. If not, they're in Deer Park. We can overnight those. But also, like you see sometimes in the field, people think that these piping, tubing our handles, and so they grabbed the tubing as well and bent the tubing. So this was a case where not only did we have to fix the valve, but we had to do some retubing, and that capability is at all of our service centers. Another pilot valve, as you can see, this valve was, it has some heavy rusting and particle buildups, so which is, probably a killer for all pilot valves. If you know pilot valves and know the industry, this one just required a trim change and getting out and taking soft good kits to the main valve and cleaning things up. Most of our, not most, all of our shops have a real stringent, like 10 to 50 point inspection process that's done. They will take those valves and take them apart, replace what needs to be replaced, blast the valves to a near white condition, and when they're done, they look brand new. Get into steam valves. Here's a case at a power plant here in the US where the customer left that plug that circled at the bottom, and with that had built up condensate inside the steam valve. And so from the circle at the top, you can kind of see some of that rust was affecting this one needed a full overhaul. The insides were fully rusted out. So we have the ability to take these apart, change what needs to be changed. If it's just lapping, or we can do that at all of our facilities. And we've got the replacement parts sitting on the shelves, so we're able to do quick turnarounds on steam valves just like we do on all of our valves, and we're able to get those valves back out to the power plant in a quick turnaround and get the power plant back up and running. Here's one that was done at the power plant. So like I said, if you can't bring the valves to us, then we'll bring ourselves to the valves. And this was a case where they had to do a full overhaul, replace the seats and the seals, do some inline lapping, and at the very end, put the valve back together, and then use that inline test machine to set and test the valve to the tag. So again, if you've got a valve that's out in the field and needs to be repaired in a quick manner, and it's better for us to come to you, then all of our shops have that capability. This was a modification at a power plant where the capacity was set incorrectly. It was a restricted lift valve that needed to be have its restricted lift changed. Our technicians all have that knowledge to get out there, get into the valve, and change the lift so that you need a different restriction on capacity, so that you're operating at a capacity that's more to your needs, and you're not going over capacity. And when you have a lift letting out too much product, then our team can do that as well. I mean, this is an extensive case of corrosion buildup. Similar to the other two that we see, we can get out to the field and we can do these repairs. This is a restricted lift section 1 steam valve, where we had to come out, pull this thing completely apart, and clean it up, put it back together. We had some new discs and seals and our thermal glides that we had to replace. But again, put it back together, put the online testing, and get that section 1 valve, safety valve, running for our customer as quick as possible. Economizer at a power plant. So pilot valve on steam. You can see here some tubing damage, but all in all, this was, getting in there. Since we're doing some repairs, we took the thing apart, placed the tubing, did some lapping, clean the seat surfaces up, made sure it was working properly, put it back together, and got this valve going again. So that kind of ends our presentation on MRO, our STAR service centers, and what our capabilities are. From myself, I really appreciate you guys joining us today. We'll get into some questions now. Billy, if you want to come off mute, and we'll try
I
to
did.
tackle them together. I see
Are we
that we
ready?
do have one question already queued up and ready for us. Okay, so this question, Billy, I'll let you go first since I got done talking. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Are the inventory valves available for Asia market or just US market? Do we have to send an inquiry to the US team instead if we need valves urgently?
Well, the Asia market would have to go to France first. And if France did not have it at their location, then they would turn around and come straight to Deer Park. And if we had it, then we would ship it out of Deer Park to wherever the customer is located.
There we go. Are all castings sourced from France or Europe factory, or are sourced from low-cost countries? There are customers that do not accept materials sourced from low-cost countries. So I'll handle this one. His is a three-part one, Billy. So I got part one. You'll see that for most of the industry, castings come from India. So same for us, and we're probably even using some of the same vendors that our competitors are using for castings. So yes, we do source from India for most cases, but when needed, and we have to do this all the time, we do have a local foundry in France that we do use. Of course, this does affect the cost of the valve, so it would have to change that cost appropriately, but still same thing our competitors would do. So not, if you're doing that with another competitor, you're going to see that same price markup. But yes, we do have that ability. What sizes are available in stock? Billy, you want to go with that one, or you want
Well,
me to
Chris, I mean, I think you know exactly what we got in that warehouse in Deer Park, but we
hit?
pretty much cover from the 1 inch all the way up to the 8 inch. Any size that we need, we have it in stock.
Yep. And we do have some 8x10s. So
We also
that
have some butt well valves available too.
correct. And these are in all the different PRV types. So direct spring, section 1 safeties, critical, non-critical, and pilots. So yes, we pretty much stock it all. Is it recommended to test the PRVs before installation, considering these are factory tested before shipping? That's really a preference. We see a lot of people bench test these valves to make sure that they are in line to the tag, but we don't see a lot come back because of it. So, but that's really a plant to plant preference. And when you get into the section 1 safety valves, those are usually on a commission basis. So yes, those will definitely be tested before startup. But yeah, it's there's no recommendation for it. Billy, step in if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it used to, back in the day when I was a service engineer at Consolidated, we would actually have the plant actually lift the valve and blow it with its rated capacity, and then set the rings and all the blowdown that way. But with the cost of steam today, nobody does that anymore. They all use the in-situ devices to actually just verify set pressure whenever the valves are commissioned before the actual startup of the facility.
Yeah. Great. All right, guys, we have one question. So if you have anything you'd like to ask, please get in and ask some questions. But Billy, I'll let you take the first one. Do you have a representative or a distributor in Chile?
That is being done as we speak. There is no one identified yet, but we are planning on having one there very soon.
But in the meantime, we have Gustavo.
Yeah, well, you have Luis and Gustavo Garcia that covers covers Mexico and Central America.
Right. So feel free to go to our website, trilliumflow.com/star service center, put in your location, and it will route you to Gustavo. If not, send us an email. We'll get you connected. We can definitely service Chile. We know that we have install base in Chile, so
yeah.
We're here to help. So let us help you out by going to Gustavo, or you can give us a shout and we will help you out. I am not seeing any questions come in. Still got a couple more minutes. What I would say is, if you go to LinkedIn and you look at, either myself or Billy, we are both on LinkedIn. So go to Trillium Flow on LinkedIn, and you can definitely, go to the profile section on people in our company, look us up. And, if you have any other questions, you're definitely allowed to contact us there, and we will, answer your questions and help you out or point you in the right direction, whatever you need. And no more questions coming in. Oh, we do. We got a question. We have a question. Are there plans for additional star centers around the globe?
Yes, they are. Currently in Europe, they're calling them star centers, but basically they're just reps. So we're in the process of trying to emulate the same thing we have in the United States, bringing it over to Europe and doing the same thing there with companies in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. And then even in North America, we're always open to new star centers. So if there's an area where you see that there's not a star center and you think that there needs to be one, then reach out to us. We're always looking for new locations, new partners, because we want to be close to our customers and be able to service their needs in a timely manner. So that could be North America, that could be Latin America, even into Canada and, South America. So we're always on the lookout. Here's a good one, Billy. I'll answer this one. Do you have sizing software online? Do we have sizing software? Yes. Can you access it? There's not a direct link online, so we can't point you to our sizing software by a website. But if you want to give contact, or I'll answer you back with a link to it. We have our own sizing software, and we have an internal version and we have a customer version. So I will get you that customer version, and you're happy to use that and look at it, and it will help you do some sizing. And then as you get into it, you have any questions, you're happy to reach out to myself, and I will walk you through it or point you to the right person that can help you get through that software. But yes, we do, and we call it our star sizing program. Okay, well, we have another minute or two. We'll see if a question comes in. If not, we'll just end this here. Billy, no questions coming in. One last thought.
No, but this presentation will be on YouTube, so you can go back and look at this presentation at any time with the Trillium Flow Technologies link on YouTube.
Correct.
And there are many more on that same, not just this one. I mean, every webinar we've done is on YouTube right now.
Correct. And just to confirm, you are doing the webinar on section 1
at a later date. Yes.
Yeah. So we kind of mentioned that earlier in the presentation. Our webinar is that we have a section 1 relief valve that we think is top of the line in the market, and so we're doing a whole presentation on just our section 1 safety relief valves and what sets it apart. And so that will be a whole 45-minute topic just on that product line. And so we suggest that you like us on LinkedIn and keep aware of our future webinars that are coming out, not just on Sarasin. We're a little particular to relief valves, if you don't know that already, but we offer a number of products from pumps and valves. We've got Atwood Morel, Gabionetta, Flowway, just to name a few. And if you go to our website, www.trilliumflow.com, and click on products, you will see our full breadth of products. And think we'll end this here. We really appreciate your attendance and the questions. Great. As always, if you have any other questions, you're happy to find us on LinkedIn and ask us. Otherwise, have a good start to your day if you're in this time zone, or if you're in a different time zone, have a good end to your day.
Thank y'all very much.